Another huge escalation as 45,000 Russians decided to literally sacrifice themselves in the east, probably for nothing. And at the same time, something big is about to happen within the next 24 hours, and ultimately Wagner is back. But more about all this in just a couple of minutes. What's up, investors? It's the Russian dude. And let's get straight to the point and talk about some ridiculous, Russian, propaganda. So, today we finally have the president of Russia, Vladimir Putin, who is demonstrating in just this small 7 seconds video. He's demonstrating all the range of emotions, perfect for the movie, as he is looking for his watch, he cannot find it, and so the emotions he is demonstrating is the intrigue, hope, despair, and then unexpected happy ending. And just once again, the emotions are so brilliant, you might even think that even could be an actor. Does Putin have doubles? Now that is the real question. And today I have a very simple task for you, so if you are wearing your watch on the left hand, which for you looks like it's right one, can you please like this video and subscribe to my channel? But if you wear your watch on the right hand, for you it looks like it's left. Can you please subscribe to my channel and like this video? And besides that, if you don't mind, can you please give me a follow on Instagram if you want to see how I live outside of YouTube? The link is down below. But okay, now let's really quickly talk about extraordinary Russian politics. Then we'll talk about this surprise in the next 24 hours, and then we'll finish everything with the update from the south and the east of Ukraine. And so, first of all, the Minister of Foreign Affairs of Russia, Sergei Lavrov, he arrived to South Africa for BRICS summit, and allegedly it was expected that the leaders of each country will arrive, but Putin, he always says that these countries we have full of friends back in Russia. It is just that, you know what, I kinda don't want to go outside because, who knows, so let's just send somebody else. But no, yeah, Russia has a lot of friends, he says. And speaking about the news from the within Russia itself, so we used to have this General Sergei Surovikin, who was allegedly tied to Prigozhin's mutiny a couple of months ago. And so after that he went extremely quiet, there was no news from him, and so today, apparently, he is dismissed from his position in air defense sector industry in Russia, but he still kinda stays within the Ministry of Defense of Russia. Right now, he is in unexplainable short vacations, so let's see what happens. And now, since we already touched Wagner, so this private military company along with its leader Yevgeny Prigozhin, they finally resurfaced once again, but this time in African continent. Prigozhin says that they will be defending Russia from I don't know what in this place and making Russia great again. And well, let's see. Because now it's time to talk about this unpleasant quote-unquote surprise within the next 24 hours, and then we'll go to the south of Ukraine. And first of all, in the capital of Ukraine, Kiev, they brought the destroyed Russian military vehicles on one of its main roads to make some kind of an exhibition of Russian occupation of Ukraine. And the reason for this, it is because tomorrow on August 24th, there will be an Independence Day in Ukraine. And if you remember, for the last several weeks, a lot of Ukrainian representatives, they were mentioning that during this specific day, August 24th, there will be some unpleasant surprises for Russians, both inside Ukraine and inside Russia. And well, one of Russian government representatives who was very critical against Ukraine in the past, Andrei Gurulev, he said that, don't worry people, don't worry everyone, it's not a problem. Nothing is going to happen, Moscow is very well protected, there is nothing gonna happen on Ukrainian Independence Day, everyone is safe, everyone should stay calm, stop panicking, stop, let Russia protect you. And well, before you even know it, several hours after Andrei Gurulev's statement, the Russian government workers who are employed in the Moscow city center, they were told not to go to the office on August 24th. Just in case, they said. And the most interesting part is that they only care about government-related workers. Other people you just go, doesn't matter. There is no panic, right? And pretty much, yes, the very same night, yet Another attack has been recorded in Moscow, and the locals went outside to see what's that, and was allegedly, as you can see from this video, another Ukrainian drone. And then we might have even more potential surprises from already different military units, such as for example Freedom of Russia Legion, which previously announced that they also planning to do something big, potentially cross-border raid within Russia and Ukraine by the end of August. The timing once again is very convenient. But wait. There is more, because then, according to the head of defense intelligence of Ukraine, Kirill Budanov, he confirmed that attacks and most likely the total destruction of Crimean Bridge will continue to happen. And then he said that yes, these things also might happen within just the next several days. So just make your own conclusions. Okay, and now as promised, let's go quickly to the south, where a key city is about to be fully liberated, and then we'll go to the east. But first of all, speaking about one of potential surprises on August 24th, the destruction of Crimean Bridge, Russians, they did not want to take any chances and they started to make some preparations. And what I mean by that is that according to Ukrainian defense intelligence, Russians started sinking old ferries next to Crimean Bridge in order to try and stop marine drones which will be sent by Ukrainians. At this very moment, it is known about only 6 of them being sunk. And in addition to that, Russians brought their ships to the Black Sea, including the one which is carrying Cyclone missiles, which have never been used in Ukraine so far. And as of right now, the total Russian fleet in the Black Sea is capable of launching approximately 70 caliber missiles, so Russians are getting prepared. And while waiting, they did one of their most favorite things to do, which is unfortunately attacking the civilian infrastructure, and this time the one which is affected is located in Kryvyi Rog. Next we refer to the report by the Institute for the Study of War, which claims that Ukrainians were able to achieve a significant success to the east of Robotyne and also some partial success in the western Zaporozhye region. And speaking about Robotyne, Ukrainians were obviously heavily relying on the western military vehicles while trying to liberate the city, such as for example Bradleys, Strykers and Leopard tanks. And just overall, here is the bird's eye footage of Ukrainians approaching Robotyne, pretty much unstoppable, eliminating those Russians along the way, especially the ones hiding within the buildings. And honestly, you just have to see this video yourself, because literally I have no idea how Russians would have survived in this attack. Most likely they didn't, because the pressure was immense by Ukrainians. That is why the full version is always on my Patreon, the link is down below and there's still 1 week of free access. And just once again referring to the report by the Institute for the Study of War, Ukrainians initiated this offensive approximately 3 kilometers away to the east of Robotyne. They were able to get extremely close to the city center, which most importantly means that Ukrainians were finally able to breach the defenses of Russians trying to protect the settlement. And eventually, Ukrainians even started to evacuate the local residents of Robotyne using Bradley's infantry combat fighting vehicles, as you can see from this video. And the gratitude of the locals was obviously met with huge happiness. But besides that, and this one is, to be honest, is a little bit unexpected, Ukrainian long-range artillery was able to destroy a big command post of Russians located to the south of Tokmak, which, if you remember from my previous videos, is the next key city along southern liberation. And ultimately, this one is a little bit ridiculous. Russians released this video of them destroying their own T-90M tank, because it was allegedly just abandoned on the battlefield, but they uploaded this video to the Russian propagandistic channels and they said, look, this is us destroying Ukrainian tanks. Well, who got bamboozled? My question is. And so, yes, now as promised, let's quickly talk about the east of Ukraine, but just first of all, let me mention that even the British intelligence report already confirmed that Ukrainians, using very cheap drones, were able to destroy, completely obliterate and burn to the ground some of Russian heavy bombers. And then we even have this satellite image of this airfield where this attack recently happened, and as you can see, indeed, one of Russian planes mysteriously and completely disappeared. And yep, you got it, There is more, because as you can see from this video, yet another Ukrainian drone was able to destroy this radio tower, which Russians were obviously using for communications in the nearby regions, and this tower was located extremely close to Belgorod. And as you would imagine, there was a response by Russians, exactly the one you expect them to do. Another attack against a residential area happened recently in Chernihiv. Next, let's once again refer to the report by the Institute for the Study of War, which claims both Russians and Ukrainians were engaged in hostilities along Kupiansk-Svatove-Kreminna front line, with neither of the sides achieving reported success so far. And speaking about Kupiansk area, one of the biggest push by Russians recently happened next to Sinkivka, located right here from this map. And so far, Ukrainians are able to resist the attacks by Russians. As you go a little bit more to the south, now closer to Svatove area, Ukrainians were also able to reportedly destroy a big ammunition depot of Russians located in Karmazinivka. And yet another attempt of Russians to breach the defenses of Russians happened next to Spirne, and as a result of attack where Russians used approximately 10 armored vehicles, Ukrainians were able to successfully repel this attack, destroying most of these combat machines. And just believe it or not, but yet another large convoy of Russians has been ambushed next to Klishchiivka. As you can see from this video, most likely some other cluster munition were used, and then in this pure chaos, Russian tank even started firing on its own. You can imagine that this footage will not be allowed on YouTube. The full version is also on my Patreon, link is down below. And just overall, a total of 4 control points, 5 concentration of Russian forces and their military equipment, and 3 artillery units have been destroyed in the last 24 hours alone. But most importantly, according to the representative of Ukrainian military Ilya Yevlash, is that Russians now bringing significant reinforcements, specifically 45,000 soldiers to Kupiansk direction, in addition to 500 tanks and armored vehicles, 300 artillery systems, and 150 self-propelled howitzers. It is also mentioned that the morale of existing forces and those new reinforcements is far from being anywhere high. That is why these forces most likely they were not rotated in a very long time. They've seen a lot of battle, most of them were unsuccessful. That is why their motivation, to say the least, is quite low. Even the Institute for the Study of War confirms this fact, mentioning that the majority of these reinforcements, it comes from Kherson region. And as you obviously know, Kherson region is located in the south of Ukraine, which pretty much means that Russians are taking their existing soldiers from the south and bringing into the east, leaving south less protected, south where Ukrainians also attack. And if you remember from several episodes ago, I was already talking about this lose-lose dilemma for Russians. Option number 1 is that they bring reinforcements from the south to the east and leave south less protected. So pretty much this looks like what they decided to do. And option number 2 is to do nothing and just let Ukrainians push, both in the south and in the east. And in this case, slowly but surely Ukrainians will achieve success in both directions. And as you can see, 45,000 Russian soldiers are being sent to the east, literally to sacrifice themselves, because honestly I do not personally believe they will be able to recapture any territories, because we have not seen any combat activities in Kupiansk since the end of last year or even before this, which basically means Ukrainians also prepared their own lines of defenses. So how would less motivated and pretty much unmotivated at all Russian soldiers breach and fight prepared Ukrainians? Long story short, it will not be possible. This attack is just them hitting against the wall, and these lives will be lost without any meaning at all. And I mean, it is not like that the Russian military commandment ever did any perfect military decisions, or at least even remotely good ones. So what we are seeing right now is just yet another Russian soldiers just being sent to be slaughtered, right? But let's see. Once again, yes, Russians might be reinforced in the east, leaving south less protected, and this is exactly where Ukrainians are attacking right now. So we might see some potential breakthroughs in the very near future. If you don't want to miss them, you already know what to do. You just have to subscribe to the Russian Dude and join our community. You are more than welcome here. Just please ahead, go ahead and do it. Hundreds of uncensored footage, and the best way to support my work is through my Patreon. You can also unlock channel perks by becoming a channel member or simply use a PayPal link. Everything can be found to the right and down below. Thank you so much for your attention, товарищи. Beware the rust scammers in the comments. Please follow me on Instagram and see you tomorrow.